Hi, and welcome back to another AnyRPG Development Livestream. In these videos, I livestream the development of the AnyRPG Engine, a 100% free and open source role-playing game engine designed in Unity and written in C#. These videos are unscripted and give you a chance to take a behind-the-scenes look at the unfiltered, methodical side of software development. For more information on AnyRPG, be sure to check out AnyRPG.org, where you can find documentation on the engine, links to the full source code at the official GitHub repository, and downloads of AnyRPG Alpha, a free game designed to showcase the capabilities of the AnyRPG engine. If you'd like to see more of this type of content in the future, be sure to like the videos, subscribe to the Cohesion YouTube channel, or just leave a message in the comments telling me what you'd like to see. In today's episode, we will be continuing the creation of a Unity package for export so that people can start using the engine. In the last episode, I ended with a little bit of trouble creating the export package, and I spent a little bit of time figuring that out and found a way to eventually make it work, and I'll show you that hopefully sometime during this episode, potentially the next one. So now in this episode, what we're going to be doing is creating some sample icons, because although a lot of the packages on the Unity Asset Store have the ability to be used in your games, they don't necessarily have the permissions built into them to allow you to redistribute them in the form of a Unity package, like even inside your own. So what I want to do is basically have just an absolutely minimal version of the engine with a bunch of icons in it that I've created, and we don't have to worry about getting permission from anyone. And so what I've been doing is testing out the best way to get just a set of sample icons into the game that's actually going to look okay. And I'll show you basically my conclusions on that. I mean, I'm definitely not like a graphics expert, so it's been kind of interesting putting these together and trying to figure out what's going to work and what's the best way to import icons. And I'll just quickly demonstrate a comparison of what I found here. So I thought at first that it might be good to have some 512 by 512 icons, because when you look at them, you know, when you're zoomed in right here, they look really nice. Basically, they're at full scale, and I have these other 64 by 64 icons, and you can see that at any size bigger than 64 by 64, they look a little odd or off. However, when you get into the actual game itself, Unity's resizing these, and the funny thing is, let's just go start a new game here. When you actually look at them on screen here, the best looking icons are actually the 64 by 64 ones. So zoomed in, just for comparison here, here's the 512 by 512 ones, and they look great, but in the game, when they get resized down, they just become sort of blurry and unclear and hard to see. Zoomed in, the 64 by 64 ones look terrible, but at close to normal size, 32 by 32, they're much more readable than the 512 ones. So for this reason, I have decided that I'm just going to go with 64 by 64 icons. And the basic icon set, like the absolute minimal icon set that's needed to run the engine, would be these 5 icons right here, plus a default bag icon, and that's pretty much it. And so we don't have icons for these yet, and I've created sample icons for most of this stuff. Now, one of the things that we need to do is we actually need to adjust and make a little bit of a code change here, because the icons for this are hard-coded in a prefab called the character panel, and we don't really want that. We want the ability to basically swap these things out through the system configuration manager, because it's just going to be a lot easier than requiring editing of game prefabs, because the game prefabs by themselves should basically just be prefabs that you never have to touch for the most part. And same thing right here, these icons are part of a prefab called the system bar. So I'm looking at the system bar right now in the Unity editor. So how I'm creating these icons is in GIMP. So what we need to do is I've got basically, let's see, the book, the boots, the character, the head, the log, the map. Okay, so let's just go throw those ones in, and actually I am going to do some renaming on those icons as well. Yeah, so let's see. Whoops. So this book icon right here, we're just going to rename that 64, just so we know it's a 64 by 64. The boots icon, same thing, 64. Character icon, 64. Head icon is 64. Same thing with the log. And the map. Okay. So we're going to get rid of these 512 icons because they just don't work for us at all. And then we can swap out the icons right here. So we'll put the map icon in there. We'll put the quest log icon in there. We'll put the character icon in there. We'll put the book icon right there. And we'll put the menu icon right there. And then let's just go jump into the game and test that out. Okay, good. So, I mean, like, it's not the most readable, but when these are only 32 pixels big, it's really hard because you basically need like 8 by 8 pixels to actually get a somewhat clear piece of text, and we're trying to fit sort of way more text in these things, but I think that's good enough basically. It'll make it really easy for anyone using this engine to figure out what they're searching for, because these are named exactly the same. So if I want to find these icons and just sort of swap them out, I can just search my Unity project for sample whatever icon there. So we still need to make some more icons. We have a boots icon, but what I actually want is a foot icon. These things work best with four letters. It's shoulders is going to be hard. We're going to have to just start removing vowels from it. So let's see. We don't have a head icon yet, I don't think. We do have a head icon. Okay, good. So we need a shoulders icon. Right now I'm just using GIMP for this, and what I've done to create these little lines right here is you can just go into image guides, and then you go new guide by percent, and you can choose horizontal or vertical, and that'll literally just stick a nice guide directly halfway through the horizontal or vertical axis of your image here. This image is a 64 by 64 image, and what I do is whenever I make any adjustments to it, you can hold down Control and Alt, and then you can see that tiny little crosshairs thing pop up there. And when you pull this around, this little plus icon you can see, if you move it close to the center, it'll directly center the image horizontally, or I mean the text horizontally and vertically in the image, as long as these guides are here. So that's how we're keeping this stuff nice and centered. And shoulder, yeah, that's absolutely terrible, but whatever. I'm setting the text in the middle to 17 point. I played around with a lot of different settings for this, spent several hours doing it, and this was definitely the best, clearest thing that I could get happening. So we're just going to export that, and this is going to be a sample shoulder icon 64. And then let's see what else we need. So we've got the head, we've got the shoulders, we don't have the hand icon. And next we need legs icon, foot icon. Yeah, legs icon too, okay. Oh, no, whoops, I already have legs icon. Okay, actually, you know what? Let's just import those, and I just want to see how those look in the character panel. So to do that, you can just drag, whoops, oh, we're going to do this again, are we? Okay, so Unity is deciding it doesn't want to import these things. I guess I need to do them one at a time again. Okay, so for all of the icons that we just dragged in here, I just dragged them out of the Explorer folder into here. Whoops, looks like I named one of them wrong. That should say 6. Oh no, okay. Right, we already had a menu icon, so it just renamed it 65. Okay, so for those four, we just want to basically select them, and we're going to set the texture type to sprite and UI. We're going to set it to trilinear filtering and no compression, and then hit apply. And then we need to go into our project here, find our character panel, open that up, and we're just going to replace those right here. So we'll go into our icons folder. Maybe they're in there. Yeah, okay, never mind. They're in the sample folder in there. We're actually going to move these into the engine. In fact, let's do that right now, because these won't be samples. These are actually required for the engine to run. I mean, at least if we don't want just blank spots where all the images are supposed to be. So we will pull these icons all over into the engine folder. And then we have the sample head. Nope, we're missing the head icon. Okay. No, we're not. There it is. Okay. So we want the sample head icon right there. And then the sample shoulder icon. Okay, we don't have a chest icon yet, so let's make one of those. And then we can import that. No, apparently Unity is deciding it doesn't want to import stuff again, so we'll have to do this the manual way. Right, oh, you know what I remember? I seem to recall that for some reason it just doesn't import if you've got a prefab open. So let's try it again. Nope, that's got nothing to do with it. It's still not importing. So I'm not trying to import a package here. Import new asset. Okay. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, so we went in basically to import new asset, found the folder, and then clicked on chest. Now it works. I don't know why it just has to be that way sometimes, and other times you can drag it in and it's fine. Bit of a pain when it doesn't work. So compression none, trilinear filtering, that looks good. Now let's go back into the character panel. And chest. So we want to go to the background here and then go back into our icons folder and pull the chest icon over there. Okay. Then we have the hand icon to put in here. The legs icon to put in here. The foot icon to put in here. And then we need to make main and offhand icons as well. So I don't know if this is, I haven't tried, yeah, there probably isn't enough space to do that. So I'm just going to call this the sample main icon. Same way I mangled shoulders by removing all the vowels. So that's okay. And then we want to do the same thing, I'm just going to off icon. Okay, good. So then we'll just go into Unity and we'll go import new asset. And we will grab the off icon. And the main icon. Okay, and then we will just control click to highlight both of those. Switch those to sprite in UI. Set the filtering to trilinear. Set the compression to none. Hit apply, and now we can go back in on the middle here where our weapons are and set the main icon instead of that sword, and set the off icon instead of that shield. So that looks pretty good, I think. And I think we can actually try that out now. Okay, good. So map, quest log, character, awesome. Offhand, main, chest, shoulder, head, hand, legs, foot. Perfect. So now we own all the icons in the basic engine here. This ability won't be included when we export the package. The only reason it's here right now is because I'm in the editor right now with all the other stuff. So that's good. So the next step is we want these icons to be dynamically picked up from the System Configuration Manager. Which is right here where the rest of our stuff is configured. And we'll be replacing these abilities with sample abilities that basically do the same thing, but with prefabs that we've created as well. So to do that, let's see what the best way to link these things is going to be. Let's start with the character panel. So our character panel, if we open up the prefab here, the character button the character button has an equipment slot associated with it here. So what we need to do, let's just see the character panel. The character panel should grab these values and set them on its character buttons right here. And it has a reference to its character buttons right here. So that's good. So basically, let's just grab this right here, and then we'll go into the System Configuration Manager. The other thing we're going to need is we'll want to break the System Configuration Manager's inputs up with like subheadings, because that list is getting really long here, and it would be nice to keep it organized. I think we have some examples of those. I thought we had some examples of those somewhere in here. Maybe it was in the main menu. No, maybe it was in the settings menu. There we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is what I mean, these types of subheadings right here. So there's the header right there. So we're going to go now into the System Configuration Manager. We will put headings in for, let's see, these are basically system abilities. And system abilities just means, oh yeah, I need to fix the formatting. One thing that I forgot to mention that's actually really important here is during my time, which I didn't record, messing around with the engine here, trying to figure out the best way to import images and export packages, I added a namespace, AnyRPG, and added using AnyRPG to all of the scripts. And so my formatting's a little off now. So in Visual Basic, if you hit Control A to select all, then Control K, and then Control F, it just fixes the formatting on the entire file for you. So that's just kind of a handy shortcut there. So we have our system abilities here, and system abilities are abilities that get cast when certain events happen, and they're called system abilities because they're not cast by your character. They're basically cast by the system. Technically, it makes your character cast them, but it's the system that controls when these things are gonna be cast. So these right here are interactable configuration. And the interactable system is that system that controls everything we can interact with. And the rest of this stuff is sort of random. You know what? Temporary material is for interactables as well, because interactables glow with a temporary material. I guess I'll just leave that one there. This is going to be game configuration. And this is going to be character panel. I think we'll need Unity Engine.ui here. It's interesting. I thought icon was in the Unity Engine.ui. Let's go to our character panel here. No, let's... What are these things? Sprites. Ah, sprites, that's what it is. I'm just using the wrong word. Okay, right, this is a sprite. Okay, so this is the character panel head. All these are character panel things. Shoulders, chest, hands, legs, feet. Okay, and that line is getting a little bit long. So I'm just going to separate them onto separate lines here also. Okay, good. So what we want to do now is let's just go in and check and take a look at our System Configuration Manager. Okay, good. That's a lot better. Okay, so we want to put the right icons in there now. So we'll go grab those from our icons directory here and put in the head icon. The shoulder icon. Chest icon. Hand icon. Legs icon. Foot icon. And then our main and offhand icons. Okay, good. So now what we need to do is in our character panel, we need to pick these up from our System Configuration Manager. So that means we will need publicly available versions of these. So we're just going to do a quick actions and refactorings and generate properties for these really quick here. And then keeping our property names consistent. Now we should be able to go into our character panel and pick up those icons. I don't know that we're actually using this background image. Oh, okay. Right. This is just set to black, I think. We'll look inside the code here and see what these are actually doing in a second. This icon right here is where when we stick something in the slot, that image is going to go. Let's just let's look at this code and just see what we're doing with those values here. So Yeah, so icon is definitely where we're putting the image, and then this background image right here. Yeah, it's empty, and basically we're just setting it to whatever color we have with the full background color and the empty background color. And let's just see how we're setting those. Okay, so the character panel itself has a setting for the full slot color and the empty slot color of the background here. Right, and the reason for this is because some of the armor icons are transparent. So with a transparent armor icon, you need like a solid background color. But to distinguish the fact that the slot was empty versus full, I had gray as the empty slot color. Now you won't actually see these with the sample icons, but if you use icons in the game like the default boot icon I was using, which had no background on it, then it would be a gray color behind it when there's nothing in the slot. And when you put something in the slot, it would switch to a black color. It's just a little bit of a visual indicator there. But right now, of course, it's completely hidden behind these, so it won't really matter for now, but it's necessary. So that looks okay. Now that we know what these are being used for in our character buttons, what we need to do is get the ability to set this image right here that's in this slot through code. Because right now we are not setting it. So we actually need to add a reference to the current image in the character button script. So let's see, we don't need to serialize that. It's always going to be the current one. So that should be done in the awake method. Oh, you know what? Hey, it looks like we're already doing that. Okay, good. So all we need to do then is basically just add a property for that. Let's just see where we're using that. Empty slot image. Right, of course, because we're hiding the empty slot image as soon as we stick something in the slot by making it transparent. Right, okay, good. So that means that we already have the reference to it, so we're just going to add public property for it. Right, and we need to fix the formatting in this file, so Control A, K, F. I'm just going to move these up here. And that's not a property, so it can go up there. Change the name on that so we're more consistent, and that looks good. So now we have a way to set the empty slot image. So now we just need to go into the character panel and this is great because we actually do a bunch of initialization right here. Right, this one we have to fix the formatting too, so Control A, KF. I'm going to need to do a lot of this. When I added the namespace, I needed to add the namespace to like 300 files, so I literally just did like a search and replace regex that added the namespace, but it didn't go and re-indent the files. So that's why I'm going to have to fix all the formatting on those as I run into that issue. So we're going to go head.myEmptySlotImage equals, you know what, we're going to need to do a check for this first. So if system configuration manager dot my instance dot my let's see, my character panel head does not equal null. Head.myEmptySlotImage equals my character panel head. And I think here we actually, this is, yeah, there we go. Because my empty slot image is a reference to an image, and we need to set its sprite because it's the sprite reference that we have in the system configuration manager. Good, so then we just need to do this for everything else. I think I'm just going to do these one at a time. Right, capital H. Okay, and now for main hand. And legs. And hands. And chest. Okay, that should be good. now we want to test that. We'll just go back in and make sure everything compiles. Okay. So now let's, to test that, we'll need to go into here because everything is set to those new icons now. So we actually want to intentionally reset one of them to the old icon. So I'm just going to find a helmet icon, any helmet icon. How about this samurai one? That looks cool. And then we're just going to hit play. So what I should see now, hopefully, is a samurai icon as the background image for the head slot, and everything else using those default white images in the character panel. Perfect. It works. Empty equipment slot, helm, good. And the rest of them are all good. Okay, awesome. So now we can properly set our images for at least the character panel through the system configuration manager without needing to actually edit the character panel prefab itself. So I'm just going to change that one back now to the sample head icon. And then now we need to basically do the same thing for the system bar. So to do that, I don't know if we'll be able to use the same thing we did here with like these hard-coded values. We might, but let's just go check first. So I just want to see if we have a reference to this anywhere. These are our UI managers. And I want to see, do we have a reference to our system bar anywhere at all? We have our action bar manager, which manages our action bars. I don't know. Like, we have a reference to our bottom panel, but that, I don't know if that contains a controller. We'll go look at that in a second here. Action bar manager. System bar isn't a pop-up window. It's not a system window. Yeah, if we did have a reference to it, it would have been probably here in the UI manager. So let's just go down and take a look at it here. If we look inside of our player UI, it's in the player interface because those are our static elements, and it's going to be down here in the bottom panel, on the bottom row, on the bottom action bars. Perfect. Okay, so we have system bar right here. Interesting. Okay, so the system bar, it has a bag bar controller on it just because of the fact that 5 of the buttons are bag buttons, but we don't actually want to do anything with the bag bar controller here. So I think the best thing to do, the easiest way to do this is I'm just going to add or create a new type of controller called a system bar controller and add it as a second thing on here, and then just like hard code 5 buttons the same way that I've hard coded the buttons on the character panel, I think. Yeah, that should work. So let's just take a look at that. me take a look at that code. I don't think I'm actually doing anything with that icon code right now. Ah, right, yes. That icon has to exist for this property because it's part of the iDescribable interface. And the iDescribable interface is how we're getting the mouse overs for this, basically. We just turned it into an iDescribable and hard-coded all the values that we needed for it. But we're not actually doing anything with that icon variable. So I think the best thing to do here, just to sort of take advantage of the existing functionality, is we'll add a reference to the image right here, and then whenever we update this icon, we can just automatically set the image to whatever this icon's value is. And then in the system bar controller, we'll just go through and set those all in the start method. So step one, let's make a system bar controller. I'll just copy the bag bar controller for that. Probably gonna not use really much of that code at all, but we need a starting place somewhere, so system bar controller. Let's see, we need a reference to our system panel buttons. So this will be system panel button, and we have the main menu button. We're hard coding these because it just makes things easier than doing this like in a list. We need the ability book, character, quest log, and map buttons. We also need that reference to the actual icon. think we'll call it the button image, I guess. We don't need to, let's see, create any event references. Or get references to any local components. Okay, so we also don't need that, or any of those, or that stuff there. Okay, perfect. So, nice and easy empty one here. And we're just going to do pretty much the same thing we did in the character panel. Just this right here, pretty much. So, go back to the system bar controller. And it looks like we need to add some more options to the system configuration manager for this. So we'll add a new heading, and it's call it system bar. And same deal, we need a bunch of sprites. What was it? Main menu, ability book, map, quest log. Okay, that should be good. And then we'll also need to add properties for those so that we can access them. And let's just see if that all compiles. What do we got here? Issue, right, of course. Now we need to change those out for the system bar stuff. My system bar main menu. So then we want main menu button.myIcon. Cannot be assigned to, it is read-only. Okay. fix that by making it not read-only. And then set those values there. Oops. Okay, and now we need to do the same thing for ability book button. Quest log, character, and map. And then we need to change these to my system bar, ability book, my system bar quest log, let's go see. Oh, that's well, we need to change that because it's not system quest log, it's system bar quest log. That's better. And then character, and then my system bar map, okay, so we'll just save everything. Alright, now we need to go back into here, and we actually need to make some changes to this. Right, first AKF to fix all the formatting. Okay, and then okay, that's a little better. So first we set icon equals value, and then I think we still don't have a reference to our image here. Let's just check that. Yeah, okay, so we need to add a reference to our image. Let's see, so I'm just gonna call this menu image, I guess. And it's an image. And then let's go back into here. Okay. I'm just going to fix those sprites by setting them to none for now. And then the menu image is this icon down here. We'll set those to none. Same thing, menu image is the icon down there. Okay, good. So now those are all set. And what we want to do basically is just write an if statement right here and go if menu image does not equal null, then menu image dot sprite equals I guess value icon. They're basically equivalent inside of this statement, so sure. Yeah, you know what, actually we've already set icon, so let's just do that icon. Good. So now whenever we set this, we should update the menu image if the menu image isn't null. And we go ahead and we set all those off of the system configuration manager at awake time. Okay, good. So then all we should need to do, we're still in our example load game manager, so that's the right place to be. And we can go down into our system configuration manager. We see this new section here. And I can just do my sample main icon. Oops. Sample book icon. Sample character icon. Sample log icon. And we're just going to test this by putting in the paper for the last one. And if it works, we should be able to load the game and we should see the proper icons on the first four and the paper icon on the very last one. So let's hit play. And it didn't work. Right, of course it didn't work. It didn't work because we forgot to add the component here. That would help, right? So, system bar controller. And we actually need to go and set those buttons too. So ability book, quest log. I know my I have this called the main menu button here, and it's called the system settings button here, and I should probably change that because main menu is the right name for it. Oh, that's what, okay, right. I added this button image down here to the system bar controller by accident, and that's not supposed to be there. That's inside the system panel button script. Okay. And character button, we need to set that too. Just wait till Unity finishes compiling here. Okay, much better. This is really interesting here. I totally don't understand this error. See this no reference exception that always keeps on popping up here? In Unity, if you have two inspectors open, you get this error every time you do a build. I have no idea why. I haven't been able to figure out how to stop it. And so generally, like if I need a second inspector, it's kind of a pain because I just have to keep that tab closed all the time. And then when I actually need one, I can open it. You'd think it would be a pretty easy bug to fix, whatever is internally causing that. So let's try this again. We're going to go jump back into the game and see if we get a map icon on our last button. Awesome. We got a map icon on our last button, and the rest of them are these other icons. Okay, perfect. So now we can successfully set all of our icons through the System Configuration Manager. So let's just go back into the System Configuration Manager and fix this last button right here. And set that back to the sample map icon. And then save our changes here. Okay. Now I'm going to end this episode pretty soon because in the next episode we're going to go through the configuration manager here. Now that we've done all the icons, the next step is to swap out basically all of these system abilities with abilities that we control the prefabs for. And actually, you know what? I should probably make some icons for this as well. Yeah, you know what? That's I think that's a plan. Because we're still on the icons, we still have GIMP open. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. We'll and this functionality is already like built into the game, so we don't have to add any more code for this. So we'll make a bank icon. And we'll make a skill icon. We'll make a port icon. make a vend icon. I'm being a little bit loose with the names, just trying to choose something that's 4 letters long that represents approximately what these things do. I'm not really concerned about exact. It's just more important, I think, that the text shows up clearly. Although these are the bubbles that show up over the guys' heads, so maybe I might even have to, you know what? Yeah, let's actually try that. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to be able to see these unless I go back into my main game manager. Yeah, let's try that. If we go back into our regular load game manager, and we take a look at our system configuration manager in there, and actually, you know what we need to do? We need to just import all those icons we just made. So, import new asset, and what I wonder is if I switch this over to details and then sort these by the date that I created them, and then just grab the last 4, can I import all 4 of them? Oh yeah, I can. Good. I think. Yeah, awesome. Okay. So then we can just select all those, change them as well to sprites, filter into trilinear, no compression. These are all tiny. They're just like a couple kilobytes each. So, I mean, compression's not really worth it, I don't think. Actually, you know what? That's about the right size that these things are showing up. So their regular size may actually be okay. Let's go back in and just check that out. So what we'll do is we've got this skill icon here. And there. Good. So if I go into my load game manager here, let me just check the build settings here and make sure that Birch Grove is included. Yeah, actually that looks okay. All right. I had some strange issue last time where I couldn't load content from these, but I think it's because I came in through the example game manager, so let's try. Actually, this guy right here in the SoulForge, he's the one we need because they're load scene combat test could not be found. Okay, so I think this is due to our level manager configuration here. Interesting, because his zone is the SoulForge, not the combat test. Yeah, when when we click on them, we get that. So let's just go see if we can figure out why that's happening. So I've got this teleport combat test ability here, which we don't need anymore. So I'm just going to get rid of that, and we have this teleport combat test effect here, but neither of those should be activating. I'm not sure exactly why he's trying to load that. His JSON file may contain more information. I'm just going to look up the Unity save data here, because maybe if I look inside over the JSON file, I might find something interesting there. So according to Google here, it's located in the app data, local low, company name, project. Perfect. Okay, so here's our save data for our JSON save file. All right, let's view that with word wrap on. And then let's see if we can find the word combat in here. so yeah, I see the issue here. Basically, what happens is when we save the game, every single zone or scene that's in the scene resources gets its status of whether or not its cutscene is viewed saved. And so we've saved that in, and what's trying to happen here is it's trying to basically load that information. So we don't want to log an error right here. That's the wrong approach. What we actually want to do is just return out of here. Because basically, if that scene didn't exist, then we just don't need to load the cutscene data there. And yeah, of course that failed because rather interestingly, log error didn't break right away. It actually went on and did that. I think this is because it waits until the end of the frame or something like that to break on log error, because log error might be similar to debug.break in that respect. So let's try this again. And this should be good because we kind of want that level of safety where if we've got invalid data in our save file, play, load game, Wizards are us. If we've got invalid data in our save file, we don't want it to interfere with our game at all. Okay, cool. So awesome. We've got all these icons here. Right. Getting a little bit of frame rate lag here, and that's because basically I've got a scene window open on the other page. So I'm just going to pull the console over top of that. There we go, lag gone. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to test out and see if any of these new icons worked. And there's a really easy way to do that, and that's to go over to our portals up here, because our portals are going to have the portal thing over top of them. Okay, so let me just take a look at our system configure. Oh, you know what? I did the skill icon and I forgot to set the portal one, which was the important one. Okay, so we're just going to save our game here. We're going to jump out of that, go back down here, and change those to the sample port icon. Okay, and let's try that again. Okay, perfect. So now we see the sample port icons, and it's exactly what we want. Okay. So now we know that those work, and we know that the size is okay too. I'm okay with that. I don't think we really need to make that any more special or any more high resolution. It's readable. I mean, it's like it looks maybe a tiny bit blurry, but these are just meant to be replaced anyway. So we went through and we also created the vend icons. Faction. So we want a faction icon. Faction as a word is too long. So what other thing can we put in there? Faction is basically loyalty, so I kind of like the word loyal. Once again, maybe just being a little loose with these, but it doesn't really matter, they're just samples anyway. This will be char. Let's go loot icon. We can call this, a cutscene is like a play. So I'm going to use the word play. And I guess we can have a name icon. Dialogue is basically talking, so we can have a talk icon. I guess quest is fine. It's 5 letters, but we can still fit 5 letters in this thing. And I don't think we made a bank icon yet. Oh, we already did make a bank icon. Okay. I guess we can make a craft icon. Oops. We want that text at 17 there. And multiple interaction. That's an interesting one. Multiple interaction. You know what? Multi. It's 5 letters, and it's pretty close to what we need. And then we're also actually going to need like some other sample ones, so I might as well just do those up now. So we'll create a sample punch icon. We'll create a sample kick icon. I think we already have a port icon. Yeah, we have a port icon, so we can use that for portal spells. Spell, yeah, we need a spell icon. And why not an AoE icon as well? And let's actually just look at our abilities and ability effects. Channeled effects, direct, attack, heal. Let's do the word heal. That's another nice 4-letter one. Sample heal icon. We might have to make like a few more of these in the next episode, but it's nice to just get as many of these out of the way as we can. Well, we've got this thing open, and we're sort of in like in the flow for creating these quickly here. Stat. Yeah, dot and hot. Oops, no, we've got hot up there. Sample hot icon. And then let's do sample dot icon as well, because we'll need to create a sample dot spell. And then we'll do a sample stat icon, because we'll need a spell that demonstrates how to just do status effects. And let's see what else. I think I already did heal. You know what word I don't have that's like a nice short word? Hit. And throw is probably the closest thing to the word like projectile that we have. We just need to recenter that. There. W is a little wider than the rest of them. So let's see, sample throw icon. It's not like the prettiest thing ever, but whatever. These are just samples, and we really don't care about anything other than you hopefully don't have to squint when looking at them. Craft. I don't think I made a craft icon yet. Let's see. Oh, I did. Okay, I made a craft icon. Gather, gather, gather 6 letters. We need a better word for gather. Gather, collect, pick. Yeah, let's call it pick. Sample pick icon, and we'll just Control Alt, move that into the center again. Okay. I have teleport, I have a projectile, I have a gather and a craft. Ground. I don't have a ground effect icon yet, so no, that's too big. There we go. Point. Point is good enough, close enough, because ground icons are a point on the ground, so that looks okay. And yeah, you know what? I will also need one for staff. I will also need one for sword. And we'll have to recenter this one again because we've got a W in it, which different spacing than the rest of them. Oh, and you know what else I need, of course? Shield. SH. Shoot. Nope, that's too many letters. Cube, because our shield is a cube. And let's recenter that. And let's see what else. My math is terrible. I actually need to type out these letters to figure out how many, or words to figure out how many letters are in them. Okay, I guess we don't need a circle. Let's see what other kind of icons we might need. Let's see, die, level, revive. Nope, too many letters. Alive, sure, why not? Let's try hurt as well. And while we're at it, some colors too. And let's see, okay, so we got teleport, we have AoEs, channeled, ice. Yeah, why don't we do sample ice icon? And sure, why not fire also? Just do a whole pile of these so we can pretty much do anything we want easily when we actually need these sort of random things here. Did I do heal yet? I honestly don't remember. Let's just try exporting it and see what happens. Yeah, I already did. Okay. Did I do fire? Yeah, I just did fire. Just did ice. Okay. Direct. Direct, I think. Yeah, direct should be okay. No, except for that 6 letters, and I can't count again. Oh, whatever, we'll use a more generic one for that. So that looks okay. Those are like basically all the ability effects. Yeah, okay. Oh, right, money. And let's just center that because it looks like it's a little off because the word money. Yeah, there we go. And then what else do we usually have? Tokens. Because if you don't have money, you have like rep tokens or something like that. So let's just recenter that. Okay. And if we look at our other resources, let's see, we have abilities, we don't do animations, we have our dialogues, equipment, item. I don't think I have one with the word item yet, and we may need that. How about food? And I actually don't think I have the word water yet either, which is another pretty common thing we may need an icon for. And let's just center that. Okay. I have quest. Recipe is 6 letters. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. So let's go and import everything we haven't imported yet. So import new asset, and sorting these by time, we can go back to like everything that we don't have. So where's the break? There'll be like a big gap in minutes here where we finished our last batch. Yeah, there we go. Here's all the new ones. Okay. Now I'm just going to select all of them because they all need the exact same settings. Really? And why? Oh, I think I accidentally, you know what? External. Oh, yeah, we kind of do need those. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to select everything in the directory. And no, still not working. Interesting. Whenever these end up with the same settings, they're all supposed to show the same settings, and I don't know why they're not. So that works. Okay, whatever. I mean, I guess I can just like manually control click all of these things. Yeah, okay, that works now. And then set them to trilinear and no compression. Okay, good. So now we've got a bunch of icons ready to use for our next episode. So what we want to do before we start that is I just want to check and see if we can get the export working okay. So to do that, we want to go into our example load game manager scene, and we want to remove all references to anything that's not owned by us. So this was sample skill icon. Use sample port icon. Sample vend icon. And the reason we're doing this is because when we go to export, it's going to automatically pull in everything that's inside of this scene, which includes this object and all of these references here. So by removing those, it's not going to pull them in, and it's just going to make our lives a lot easier. What happened there? play icon for that? Yep. Name change, that was a name icon. Then we had a talk icon. Quest icon, bank icon. Whoops. There. Multiple interaction. This one was multi. Okay, great. So now we are not referencing any of these icons. These abilities are still going to cause a little bit of stuff that we don't own to be pulled in, but let's take a look at this now. So I figured out how to perform the exports, and here's a really interesting point. When you perform an export and you choose select all dependencies, Unity is going to bring in every single C# script in your project regardless of whether or not it's actually a dependency. So to get around that, you have to not use that option, and that means that it doesn't mean that you can't use dependencies. It just means you have to use them a lot more carefully by not using that option and taking advantage of something Unity does for you. And I'll show you what that is here. So if I were to say, for example, pull in, like, let's see, this folder right here. Actually, let's just go the engine folder. Perfect. So if I click on the engine folder and I go like select dependencies, now I guess I have to wait for it because it takes a little while to do that. Okay. It selected a bunch of stuff, but if you have multiple folders, like it doesn't work properly. So what you have to do is go in, select one of your scenes, the scene you're going to use, then go into another folder, control click and select another scene, and you'll see this here changes to 2 scenes. Then we're going to select that scene, and we have 3. Then we're going to go into our main menu and grab that scene, and we have 4. And then we have our load game manager, and now we have 5 scenes. So now we can go select dependencies on these, and we'll get an actual list of proper dependencies. There we go, 590 objects. So what we want to do now is we actually want to pull in some of the other stuff because we rely on UMA, and when we selected the dependencies of these scenes, we didn't get UMA pulled in. So we need to go up to the assets folder and we need to control click on UMA, and then while holding down control, whoops, drag UMA over here. Whoops, I don't know what just happened there. It's not unselecting it anymore. No, Unity's like frozen up, it's doing something and I have no idea what. I think I might have accidentally moved the mouse and whoa, what's good? No, stop. Okay, well, apparently cancel isn't an option. Great. I have no idea what it's doing right now. Thanks, Unity, for not allowing us to cancel whatever you've decided to do right now. I could probably like close the program, but that just might break things and leave my whole project broken. It looks like potentially we might have accidentally... This is a real pain in the butt that this cancel button isn't available here. Because I mean, this is like a perfect example of the Unity UI failing you when you accidentally move your mouse a tiny little bit and then it just goes off and does something, freezes up, doesn't let you cancel. And now I'm actually going to have to go back through this entire process here and undo this. Whatever just happened. I'm going to have to like move UMA back out. And this has never happened to me during my testing before either, so I don't know how long this is going to take. It'll probably take a while to fix though, so maybe I will just save showing the actual export thing for the next video, because I have no idea how long it's going to take me to fix this action which Unity has decided it's going to do without letting me cancel it. So yeah, okay, well, thanks for tuning in, and we will continue this in the next episode where we'll go through and we'll actually finish up making the spell prefabs and example spells and such, and then hopefully get a package exported without uncancelable weird stuff happening. So take care, and as always, if you like this type of content or you'd like to see more of it in the future, just subscribe to the Cohesion channel or leave a comment letting me know what you want to see. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.